During the investigation of the Titanic shipwreck, researchers noticed a peculiar phenomenon. The bow, front of the ship, was in remarkably good condition at the bottom of the sea, while the stern, back, was in a significantly worse condition, lying 2,000 feet away. While it's true that iron and steel corrode after lying at the bottom of the sea for 100 years, the stark 80 between the front and back raised questions. Researchers believe that something else happened to the Titanic on the night of the accident, in addition to hitting an iceberg, which caused more damage to the stern. However, the question remains, what exactly happened? Welcome to Knowledge Junction. On the night of the Titanic's collision in 1912, the ship found itself alone in the dark sea, approximately 700 kilometers off Newfoundland, Canada. A total of 2,240 people were on board, of whom 1,500 lost their lives. The survivors of this tragedy were the only ones who managed to escape the sinking ship and plunge into the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Amidst their struggle to survive, they had no means to document the events that unfolded that night. The first rescue ship, RMS Carpathia, arrived at the scene 1.5 hours after the Titanic sank. Fortunately, they received the Titanic's distress signal, enabling them to save those fighting for their lives in the frigid waters. Until that moment, nobody knew about the Titanic disaster. Initially, during the investigation, nobody knew the cause of the ship's sinking. However, the survivors eventually revealed that the ship had collided with an iceberg. This was corroborated by the presence of the iceberg at the site. Interestingly, remnants of Titanic's red paint were still visible. Based on eyewitness accounts and evidence, the investigation report stated that the iceberg had created a 300-foot-long gash on the right side of the Titanic, causing extensive damage. However, the survivors mentioned that it took approximately 2.5 hours for the ship to sink. At the time, the truth about the Titanic's fate remained elusive. Finding the Titanic was necessary to uncover the truth. The search for the Titanic spanned many years, and with each passing year, the mystery deepened. Finally, after 73 years, the discovery of the Titanic wreckage represented a significant breakthrough for the marine industry. Now, the time has come to address the unanswered questions left by the Titanic. For decades, the wreckage lay shrouded in darkness at a depth of 4,000 meters in the Atlantic Ocean. Numerous expeditions captured countless photos of the shipwreck. Ocean explorer P.H. Norsley has visited the Titanic wreck over 30 times. However, despite extensive exploration, no 300-foot clue has been found. In this profile photo of the Titanic, a 30-foot section indicates evidence of an impact. Its area spans only 11 square feet, and calculations suggest that approximately 370 gallons of water could have entered the Titanic every second. Filling the water at the same speed would mean that the entire ship would be submerged in 2.5 hours, consistent with the eyewitness accounts of the Titanic sinking. It wasn't a 30-foot crack, but rather a large crack spanning that distance. However, this was not the only mystery. During the investigation of the Titanic shipwreck, researchers couldn't comprehend why the bow, front of the ship, was in better condition than the stern, back, and why there was such a significant distance between them. To unravel this mystery, advanced sonar scanning technology was employed. It captured millions of photos of the Titanic shipwreck site, which were then used to create a 3D model using computer graphics. This model revealed details that are not visible to the naked eye or traditional cameras at such depths. In the model, it became apparent that the decks of the 392 feet long stern were compressed into each other, resembling a paper ship rather than a steel structure. They were scattered due to different forces at play. Only 2 engines, the size of houses, remained attached to it. Another important clue was discovered within the same model, shedding light on the condition of the stern. The marks on the ocean floor, made when the stern hit it 110 years ago, are still visible today and can only be observed through the 3D model. These marks indicate that the stern rotated counterclockwise upon impact, Scientists deduce from these marks that the stern traveled an astonishing 80 kilometers from the point where the ship split, RK spit, to reach the ocean floor. As the rear part of the ship submerged rapidly, the forces exerted by the water caused loose parts of the ship to detach. When the stern hit the ocean floor, all its decks collapsed onto each other. Conversely, the front section of the ship, being hydrodynamically designed, was able to cut through the water, similar to how a ship stays afloat. This explains why the bow section remained intact, as it wasn't subject to the same forces. Finally, another mystery surrounding the accident that occurred 110 years ago has been resolved. However, another question remains unanswered. When did the Titanic split into two parts? Eyewitnesses reported that the ship broke in two. For years, it was believed that the Titanic split before sinking. However, the 3D model created by sonar scanning tells a different story. Yes, the wreckage inside the Titanic is scattered extensively on the ocean floor, including coffee cups, dinner plates, chandeliers, deck benches, and personal belongings. Approximately 90% of these items are from the stern section. More than 10,000 items are spread over an area of about 3.2 square kilometers. But upon reaching the ocean floor, their dispersion would have been even wider. According to experts, this section initially emerged above the water but approached the ocean floor from the bow section and then rotated, changing its direction. Today, the RMS Titanic's wreckage is 2,000 feet away. It has completely rusted, with scientists believing that oxygen levels are very low at this depth of the ocean. As a result, the rusting process is very slow. However, tests conducted on rust samples revealed that the rust is caused by oxygen released by bacteria. It appears that in the coming years, all the decks of the Titanic will collapse onto each other, resulting in its permanent alteration. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for more amazing videos.